I was living in a teepee when we started farming. We threw ourselves into this. My then partner and I had a teepee, and we had it set up at a friend's farm, and we were renting land from him, and we knew we weren't going to stay there, so we weren't going to name it after the area. Or it was Plum Creek, which would have made a nice farm name, I guess, but we knew we were moving on, so it became Tipi Produce. No, nobody in my family had ever farmed. I grew up in Philadelphia, in a row house in West Philadelphia, and nobody even gardened. I mean, uh, I first set foot on a farm when I was working with the Outposts in its early years. I helped start the Outpost Natural Food Co-op, and one of my roles was to go out and find local organic produce that we could buy for the farm. And I just fell in love with the beauty of the farms and the families that I met, and I said, I want to do this. I want to be a farmer. And I didn't know what that meant. I mean, it was a very naive thing, you know, that somebody in their early 20s would say. And yet here I am doing it. So it worked out. Well, I think we have to deal with more weeds, number one, because we don't have any chemical controls for weeds, of course. But what we're really concerned with foremost is building soil health and quality, making sure that our soils are biologically active, that they're able to decompose organic materials and keep a flow of nutrients flowing to the plants that way. We always work first with soil. I think conventional farmers are thinking about plant nutrients, plant food, and the soil is just kind of a delivery system for those soluble nutrients. And we deal with organic materials that have to go through natural processes of decay and in order to release the nutrients that the plants need. So there's a lot of communication between the plants and the soil, and processes that we don't understand at all, but we can just intuit and work with. If you walked on the farm, you wouldn't necessarily know it was an organic farm. The equipment's the same. A lot of what we do, harvesting organic produce versus non-organic, feels just the same when you bend over and pick it off a plant. But the soil comes first with us. Oh, well, it feels great because that really is our goal. I mean, it's to get people to eat high quality food, and our role is to produce that food. These days there's a lot of people involved with the intermediate stages of food, of growing all the way to eating, you know, advisors and people studying the whole process. But without farmers, without enough people growing this quality food, the rest of it doesn't make sense. So I feel great. I love shipping out truckloads of CSA boxes full of our stuff, or a truckload to the stores who resell it. We're feeding our community. And we know a lot of the people who eat our food. We get a lot of feedback from them. And the people who work here know the people who are eating their food that they've got their hands on. They can walk into the Willie Street Co-op in Madison and look on the shelf and say, I harvested this lettuce 2 days ago, and here it is. And that's a great feeling of connection. It's community, it's health, and it's working within the natural limits and taking advantage of the forces that we have working in our favor. Many farms have a signature crop, and that's ours. You know, it actually started when Willie Street Co-op, asked us to grow more carrots. We had been growing just a few because we were at that point. This was over 15 years ago. We were digging them by hand and, just doing them on a small scale, learning how to handle it. They said, they're great carrots. We want more. We need a local supplier. They lent us some money to buy equipment so we could mechanize the process. And this farm, for just, I don't know, whatever reason, from the very first year we were here, before we really had a chance to improve things, was growing good quality carrots. I think they're getting better though. You know, we have the right tools and we focus a lot. We put a lot of attention on those carrots to make sure that they get going properly, they get seeded, they get up, they get weeded, they get harvested, and everything else it takes to get them into people's houses.